Hi everyone, I'm Rincey and this is Rincey Reads. Today is Project for Awesome Day, so I will be doing a Project for Awesome video. So the charity that I want to highlight today is First Book. First Book is a nonprofit organization that works to provide books to people and communities and organizations that are in like low income areas or just can't afford to get books. Approximately 45% of children in the United States currently live in low income homes. That comes out to about 32 million children. Because they're living in low income homes, that means that they often don't have access to books, not even just books in their own homes, which is clearly not a priority when you are just trying to cover food, shelter, water. But these low income households are then put into schools that don't have enough funding, and their libraries don't have enough funding, and approximately 2/3 of schools and families in these areas can't afford to buy books at retail price from publishers. There are a number of studies out there that show that the number of books that you are exposed to as a kid, as well as your overall literacy levels growing up, has a direct correlation to your success in the future. There was another study that showed that in middle income neighborhoods, the ratio of books to kids is approximately 13 books for one kid, and then in low income neighborhoods that ratio is actually 300 kids for one book. So First Book works to get books into the hands of these people. They work with schools and teachers, they work with shelters and libraries, as well as like faith-based organizations, military organizations that support families, every possible group that you could think of that could potentially need books, First Book is willing to work with. And First Book isn't just working to provide like kids books to elementary school kids, although that is a chunk of what they do. They also work to provide like college prep books, STEM-based books, books that talk about healthy eating and exercise, bullying. First Book did a 14-month study following about 2,500 kids who had received books through First Book, and they found that the number of students demonstrating high interest in books and reading nearly tripled after First Book provided books for them, and more than 70% of these kids reported increased literacy activities at home after receiving books from First Book. Also, within the past couple of years, First Book launched their Stories for All project. They noticed that there was a giant gap happening in the publishing world where there just weren't enough stories for kids demonstrating diverse voices, so they decided that they were going to work with publishers to publish new books featuring diverse voices, as well as providing paperback versions of some books that were already out there. One big barrier that a lot of people were finding was that these lower income homes, like, they're never going to buy a hardcover brand new book, but paperbacks are cheaper to distribute and cheaper to replace and things like that. So they have been working with these classrooms and nonprofits that are in these neighborhoods and listening to what the readers in that area want, whether it be people who look like them or people who sound like them in the books, and then they are seeking out authors and publishers who provide books like that. So I will have a link down below to the Project for Awesome website, so if you can, definitely vote for this video or any other video talking about First Book, because I think they're a really great organization, and especially as a book channel or a booktube channel, I feel like it's important to talk about these things and support these organizations. Also, if you are willing to give a monetary donation, I will have a link down below. In general, for about $10 you can provide 4 books for First Book, but right now until December 31st they are actually teaming up with Penguin, and so for every $2.50 that is donated, Penguin Young Reader is then giving 2 books. For $2.50 you can basically just provide 3 books for First Book, which is insane. You know, $5 gets you 6 books. It's just ridiculous. So yeah, I'm a big fan of First Book, obviously, and if you can, show them some support. Otherwise, just check out the Project for Awesome website. There's lots of really great charities and organizations that are doing really great work around the world, and I highly recommend checking out those videos, checking out those organizations, and sending a couple votes to the ones that appeal to you the most. So yeah, that's all I have for now, and thanks for watching.